But here's the funny part, guys. So you guys, got red pilled, and I kind of shared with you when I started to. I guess my aha moment, because I used to watch CNN. I used to think that they were a very respectable news organization, and it wasn't until the Obama years where I actually saw them lying. It was specific to when Israel and I think it was Hamas were getting into regional conflict. And so Obama was a big supporter and not really saying Muslim terrorists or anything like that. Like he really refrained from wanting to say that and making anything negative towards Islam whatsoever. But the reality was that you had one group of people attacking another group of people. And so Bibi Netanyahu was firing back wherever the rockets that were being fired at him, right? He was just signaling it out and shooting on back, and apparently he was hitting some civilian buildings. And I remember he got a lot of criticism from the UN as well as the White House, and they were like, listen, you're hitting civilian buildings, you're purposely targeting Islam or Muslim communities. And he's like, look, I'm not targeting anybody. Wherever the rockets are being fired from, we're firing back. Both sides, meaning the UN and the White House, were like, there's no evidence of that. There's no proof. You're making things up. And then it was an independent news organization from India. They were actually in a hotel and they started filming live, and they filmed 2 or 3 terrorists literally arming up, building up, putting together a rocket launcher next to, I don't know if it was a hospital or a school, and they launched one right next to the building, which gave credit to what Bibi Netanyahu was saying. And when I saw that, I'm like, dude, why is the White House doing this? I actually had respect for the White House, and here they are playing politics and playing favorites because they didn't like Bibi Netanyahu.
What was that story from years ago? I'm trying to remember it. But I was like, were they reporting about bad things happening in the Middle East, and like some news organization, I forgot which one it was. There was some like, nothing's going on, everything's fine, but then you see the explosions going on in the background.
Yeah, that was CNN, and that was the riots.
It wasn't just the riots. It was somewhere in the Middle East. Where was this?
I think you might be talking about, it was one of my favorite. Are you talking about the one where she said death, the people were saying to America or something like that?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
It was a CNN support. It was a CNN, I think it was CNN reporter. And in the background, I think it's the Taliban. They were yelling death to America. Yeah. And she was like, she was like something like they're mostly nice or something.
Or like fiery but mostly peaceful too. So
let's talk about, let's transition to the now, right? We've got these, in my opinion, we've got this anti-American leadership. We're seeing the crisis and the energy crisis. Why we're trying to buy oil or energy from other countries, especially countries that hate us, countries that are run by dictators like Venezuela, like Iran, etc., right? Versus producing our own. I don't understand that, and it seems like it's either A, you're doing it because you're doing it on purpose, or B, you just don't know how to run things. And in my opinion, it's got to be A, because we were just energy independent in 2019. So I look at this leadership that we currently have and the bureaucrats within it as anti-American. It seems like every policy that they put forth, it just makes us weaker and weaker. What do you guys think?
Yeah. This is something a little funny when you look at it. Like you notice how the last year or so, couple years, there's been like food shortages that have been going on in some areas. But you find it curious that they're pushing bugs on people to eat bugs. You find that curious. Like even in Australia, they actually opened up was it at a school or was it at some restaurant where they're like going to be serving kids bugs now? So yeah, that's this. Yeah. Living in pods and eating bugs. So yeah, but yeah, what the entire goal is to destroy America from within. They know they can't do it from the outside. So what they have to infiltrate and do it from within. Like make us have energy shortages, make us have food shortages, make people hate each other, like create violence. Because guess what? Especially the violence. That is the key to their plan. What the elites want, and I mean the elites, What they want is chaos, because guess what? When there's chaos, there's gonna be destruction, and like when we all start killing each other, and then guess what? We're gonna after the dust is settled, it's gonna be much easier for them to come in and just swoop up and just basically just put us under a dictatorship. It's gonna be much easier.
Yeah, this is an alignment to me, and we're talking about, I think, WW3 type stuff. This is Russia. Russia started cozying up. We forced it to happen this way, and I think that our leaders could be corrupt. I mean, that's how serious this is. Russia started cozying up to China. They started selling its oil to China, and to my knowledge, they're doing it in China's currency now. So it's an attack on the dollar, the strength of the dollar. And Saudis, they only care about themselves. So they're looking at the tea leaves and they're like, well, who do I go with right now? And they're like, well, the dollar is not, I don't think long term that's where we want to be tied into. And so they're like dicking with Russia and China on this. And that's an alignment for, in my opinion, not that it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen. But when you look at where the chess pieces are going, either you are with NATO or you're with the anti-NATO. And right now, Saudi Arabia has gone over to the anti-NATO side.
I have this opinion. I think NATO should be disbanded. I know most people will disagree with that. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
Because what it's doing, it's causing division, and it's angering the relationship we have with Russia, China, North Korea. Because they hate that, because they realize, especially with this Ukraine thing, like Dave Smith even talked about this, where at the beginning of this Russia-Ukraine conflict, Russia was actually offering to come to the table as long, and they would back out as long as Ukraine never joins NATO. But if you didn't know, the U.S., what they did was they tried to make sure they didn't come to the peace talks. So it's like they were trying to invite conflict to happen.
Correct, because they want to fight a proxy war. Now, let me ask you guys this, because Osiris, I'm on the same page with you. I believe that our leadership has been bought out by the Chinese specifically. So the Chinese have made it they haven't hidden their intentions of dominating us, right, on a global scale, right? They're our geopolitical enemy. But be it that they're communists, I just think that they're our enemy, period. I don't think it's just on a geopolitical side or on a financial side. I think they are an actual threat. Now, if they are in line with the Chinese, I personally don't think that the Chinese would recognize them should they take over the United States. But I guess they do, and that's why they're aligning with them. What are your thoughts?
You say why China is aligning with our political
No, why
elite?
Why would our elite align with China and think that China would spare them should they ever actually end up taking over the United States?
I actually think China would spare them. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I'll hear what you have to say about that. But I think for their standpoint, it's a risk worth taking. What's happening is China's rising up, and China's going to be, if they're not already, they're going to be the true world power. And that's going to happen. So I think our political, it's like the Titanic. Some people know that the ship's going to hit the iceberg. So what they're doing is they're gathering up all the jewels and trying to steal stuff and taking the silverware, and they're going to take the first boats, and they're out. So they know that WW3 is possible. Anything else is possible, from any type of bio weapons to whatever. And China's going to rise up. And when a power rises up like that, there tends to be some tension. So I think they're going to get paid off. China's paid off the Hollywood entertainment industry, the universities. They're all over our country. So I think they're like, well, what do you want me to do? It's over. And they know most people in America don't care about this. So they're sold out. They're going to get their money off the Titanic before it hits the iceberg. That's
interesting. What about you, Ray?
Well, I think you guys are coming at this from a slightly different perspective from me. You're saying like China is the one in control of this. No, they're not. China, because guess what? The elites. I'm not going to say their names, but you guys, know who I'm talking about. Osiris, 13 bloodlines. Yep. They're the ones that are truly in control. They are.
I hear you.
China. China, they actually obey whatever they're told. That's why do you think they're being like? Why do you think they're actually going to be allowed to invade Taiwan pretty soon? Which that's going to happen pretty soon when you look at it. But like they follow whatever like what the elites tell them to do. And when you talk about would they let our elites over here go or something like that? Well, these elites over here, they're all connected with all the elites around. Our elites are actually part of the actual elites. They're just the smaller pieces put in like what is it, like a rook or a knight in chess, something like that. That's what it's like. They're just put there to be the ones the front runs, but they're actually much smaller than what we think. It's the top elites that are in control, and like they like Xi Jinping is okay. I'm not going to say the guy's name, but the guy who's the head of the WEEF. I won't say his name. I don't want your channel getting in trouble, Carlos. But you know who I'm referring to. He's buddies with Xi Jinping, and if you didn't know, Vladimir Putin, if you didn't know, was a member of the WEF. He was, and he's buddies with the head of it as well. I won't say his name again, but he's buddies with them. So. Just by that, Russia and China, they're just pawns. They do whatever they're told to do. And so, like I think they ordered Russia to invade Ukraine, and now they're ordering them to back out. So it's those people that are truly in control. And whatever happens is what it does not happen without their approval.
Interesting. So Osiris, you said something that intrigued me a little while ago. You said that when it came to a peaceful separation, you didn't think that there was a way for us to mend the situation at this juncture, but I think maybe about 2 months ago, you had a different view. I remember because you said that there was a chance for us to reconnect, but we needed to start doing these different things and so on and so forth. So I'm taking it that your position has changed.
Well, I think there's always a possibility, but I think in the end, I am white pilled that people will win. Now, I don't know what that looks like, though. And I think America, as it always was, is over, though. So that doesn't mean that in the long term, people won't win. I don't know if it looks like a different country or what, and that could be 60 years from now. I don't know. It's not like tomorrow. But once, there was this story that came out that for the selective draft, that certain people will be considered males that don't identify as males. And the reason I bring that up is because I think when push comes to shove, when things get tough, there is no more, I believe that I'm oppressed and you're my oppressor. Like if you're in a foxhole and things get really, really bad, you got to work together to survive. It doesn't matter what your ideology is or what you identify as or none of that. All that matters is how are we going to survive? And when that happens, you're going to see libertarians work with MAGA, work with them. Those labels won't even mean anything at that point. I mean, like dire straits.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I agree with you. I don't think there is a way to mend this country anymore. I think we are just so far, and I don't know what's really behind it because we have social media now, which anytime you go on there, it's just like you just see poison being spewed, right? Everybody's arguing about everything, whether it's movies, cartoons, and so on and so forth, and the division has been sown in so deep into all of us that look, we're fighting over movies and characters because they're race swapping things. And if you disagree with the race swap, you're now automatically deemed a racist, even though you might like a film or another superhero character of the same ethnic background, but you're still somehow a racist. But anyhow, I do believe that we're so far gone that there is no mend, which is it's unfortunate. But I'm gonna ask you guys this question, and each of you, is it contradictory? Obviously, this has been sown by the elitist. Is it contradictory to say that one group of people is so oppressed here in this country that really this country's so bad, but yet it's not bad enough for another group of people to come here illegally?
I'll let you go first, Osiris.
Yeah, so I think it's a testament to how great our country is that people want to come here. And if I were in their shoes, I would want to come here too. There's nothing.
But think about this: the message from the left. Okay, let's take you for instance. You're black. This country is evil towards you. It oppresses you. It's been oppressive to all of your ancestors, and therefore this country's bad. But it's not bad enough that my people can come here across the border and let's just let everybody in. Like, I mean, think about it. If this country was really that bad, that racist, that oppressive, no one should be coming here. Nobody would want to come here. And yet that's not true, because millions of Hispanics are crossing the border every single day illegally and swimming across shark-infested waters. So is it not a contradictory message as a whole? And it seems like they're just placating to the specific groups for their specific needs or their specific cries.
Well, it's definitely contradictory. Yeah, I'll let you go here, and it's definitely contradictory, and I'll let you go here, Ray, in a second. They just operate on emotions. Like there's no reason to any take they have, any position they have. Ray, what do you think?
On my father's side, I'm part Polish too. My father's a white guy, but he's part Polish. I guarantee that if 20,000 Polish people showed up at the southern border, the Democrats would be like, no, we don't want you here. Go, go, go. The reason is because the vast majority of Polish people tend to vote Republican. Because it's pretty obvious what this entire goal is. Now, to get to your point about if this country is so racist enough, but it is so racist, but it's not racist enough. Like as a black person, like I love this country, and there's nothing that you could do to make me leave. Now, there's, like I said, there's no such thing as a perfect country, nor will there ever be. But if you allow some, if you let Polish people come in, because it's pretty obvious most of them vote Republican, but the majority of Hispanic people, they tend to vote Democrat. It's part of an agenda. It's not. I actually don't even think they care about race whatsoever. They don't give two craps about it. All they care about is power, and to do that, they're strategizing. And they're taking advantage of Hispanic people, because the vast majority of Hispanic people will tend to vote Democrat.
Absolutely. There was a research, an article that came out, or polling. I don't know if it was from Pew or not. It showed, and I have to look for it, but it showed that illegal immigrants from Africa, so these are black immigrants, they come to this country obviously legally. They end up earning more money than natural-born American blacks. If this country really was racist the way that the left signifies, none of those African immigrants would be making anything more than anybody else. They would be making a far less, and they would be equally oppressed and equally shut down and so on and so forth. But the research states otherwise. It states that they actually end up making more, and a lot more. Why is that?
It's the same thing with what the left claims is sexism, because the wage gap thing, that's a lie. Because guess what, women earn more money than us men. Care what anyone, that's been proven. That it's been by polling and by studies, it's been proven that women make a little more than men, and so they earn more than us, but they're always oppressed. That makes no sense to me. We're toxic. All us men are toxic, and all women are oppressed. Yeah.
Osiris.
Yeah, I don't have I'm trying to think through that one. What do you think, Carlos? I'm not sure on that one.
Well, the thing, I need to look for the article, but here's the thing: if it's true, then you cannot claim that this country is oppressive, because if it was oppressive, it would be universally oppressive to everybody that has a black background. And so then you got to weed through it. So then you got to look at, okay, if it's true that migrants that come here are making more than the native born, then why is that? But it definitely defeats the narrative that this country is oppressive. Again, I don't think anybody would want to come here to an oppressive country willingly.
Yeah, and I think hold
on, go ahead, Osiris.
Yeah, sorry, I'll go real quick, because my parents are Jamaican immigrants, so they are legal immigrants, and I've known quite a few, and I don't know if this is the case, so I'm just speculating from my experience. They very often appreciate the country more. And I'm still not sure if this will work out how Democrats want it to. I think they do want it to work out to, voting in their favor, people who are easier to manipulate. But I think they work hard and they end up appreciating this country. And you saw kind of the rise. We'll see if she wins, Myra Flores. And those were typically areas where she represents that typically were blue. And you see them changing. And I don't know. I really think that there is she talked about God, family, and country. That was basically what she talked about. And it resonated with people, and they went from Democrat to Republican. And I just think there's appreciation to those values and hard work, and that doesn't align with Democrats.
Interesting.
Yeah, Carlos, with you being Hispanic, what was your opinion on Pelosi when she was talking about when DeSantis was sending all the illegals out of Florida? What was your opinion on when she said the people down there, they need them down there to pick the oranges or something? What was your opinion on that?
So I mean, let's be real. If you're an illegal immigrant, more than likely you have low skills. You don't have high skills, right? So where's and there's a language barrier, right? Because you probably don't know the main language. So you come here, you find whatever low labor work that you can find, which is going to be in those types of scenarios. So it's not factually wrong what she's saying for the most part. However, to say it from her, again, we're in this sensitivity culture and respecting all, so on and so forth, right? It's really bad for her to have said it. And say say that part out loud that everybody pretty much knows why the Democrats want more of the illegal immigration, right? It's cheap labor. That's why these elitists, right? They like this stuff because they figure that they can hire cheap labor. Their maid is going to be cheap. Their butler is going to be cheap. They can pay their factory workers below minimum wage. And it goes back to the topic that we mentioned in our very first episode, was exploitation of the illegal immigrant, right? They're not going to get paid the same. They're not going to get medical benefits. They're not going to get vacation and sick leave and so on and so forth. They're going to work a lot harder than the legal immigrant, which then takes away from the legal immigrant, because the legal immigrant who should be able to get that job can't, because they're getting outwaged by the illegal one. It's a crap fest any way you look at it.
Imagine with illegal Africans coming here. Imagine if she said, "Well, they need them down here to pick the cotton." Imagine if she had said something like that.
That's just so bad.
I mean,
imagine
what she was saying.
Imagine if she had said that.
That's a great point.
I'm into dark humor, guys. So,
I think it's basically what she was saying, though. I mean, it is basically what she said. They don't do cotton in Florida, do they?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so.
Just imagine if just switch Florida out with Tennessee. Just imagine if with that.
Well, remember when Biden was toting how his state was a slave state? So maybe we should go back to his state and ask them how they would feel about that analogy. It's just terrible. Gosh, these guys are just horrible. And it goes to Osiris's point. If you listen close enough, they'll tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's actually true. And that's what she did. Nancy Pelosi, she said the truth there. And like you said, I don't think anybody really said she was lying. I think what the problem is this the reason why you're allowing immigration that in my eyes is illegal? Most of them are seeking asylum, and they're playing these games with asylum seeking. So basically, okay, I come and I just say I'm seeking asylum. Now I know they want a better life. It's nothing against them. There could be evil cartels and gangs, and they could be escaping real danger. Doesn't technically necessarily fall under our asylum. They're taking advantage of our benevolence. And so when she says that, is she justifying something that should be impeachable? Really, if you're allowing people in by the millions and they shouldn't be here, and you're saying we need to do it because of this. It was almost an admission of guilt to me.
I totally concur and agree with you on that, because it's absolutely true. And to be quite frank, it is an abuse of our asylum laws, because there's really there's only two countries that really fall under actual asylum, and that would be Venezuela and Cuba. All other countries have a democratic process, their democratic process of elections and electing their presidents and so on. It's just that their governments are massively corrupt. Why should we be responsible and take in all of those folks for the corruption of the Latin American countries? I mean, and it doesn't have to be Latin America. It could be anywhere. I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's the Hispanic community. I don't care if it's the white, the European community. I don't care if it's the Asian community. I don't care who it is. I don't want people coming here breaking the law because I have to follow the law. It's that simple.
Yeah. It's like okay. So if you want, I'll tell you this then. How about this? We let as many people come over as you want. But here's the thing, though. If any liberal who says they want open borders, want anyone to come over whenever they please, you have to take some into your house then.
Yeah, good luck with that one. So let me ask you guys my final question here that I have for you guys. Is it anti-American to have immigration laws? Because that's one of the arguments of the left, that we need to have open borders, we need to have a heart, we need to open the doors to everybody, because these people, to Osiris's point, they're just looking for a better life, and it is actually anti-American to shut down our border doors and take and get people out. It's actually anti-American, since our a good portion of our history was built on immigrants coming here. So is it anti-American to actually deport people or close down the borders?
Well,
absolutely.
You can go, Osiris.
Well, I'll go. Absolutely not. No, that's not. Imagine you have a house. The problem that I'm having with a lot of the Democrats and people here is they almost operate as if we have unlimited resources. Like it's just, there is no cap. Imagine you at your crib right now, you said, well, I want to take care of everyone. The door is open. And you literally have tens of hundreds of people coming through your crib. They come in, they come out. There's not enough room for them all to sleep, but they can go in your fridge. They can take your car. They can use your electricity, your water, your gas. We cannot, as a country, many people, there has to be a line. And like I said, my parents are immigrants. Just get in line, follow the process. You have to take a little civics test. Maybe we as Americans need to take the civics test. But there has to be a process you have people come in, do some work to come in, have some skin in the game. We get to choose who comes in and who, do some type of background, that type of stuff. That is American to do that. That's not anti-American.
Yeah. Well, I want people to come to this country because guess what? I'm actually someone who likes immigrants coming in, but I don't like illegals coming in here. Guess what? All the three of us, we had to work to work our behinds off to get to where we are right now and to get where we want to get in the future. But all these illegals that are coming in, they're just being handed stuff. Like I've heard stories from other Hispanic people where they were talking about their ancestors that came here to America. They were saying their ancestors came here back in the 50s and 60s. They came here and they came here legally and they worked their behinds off. But now a whole bunch of people, they come to this country and they just want handouts. That's you can't expect us to just keep doing that. If you want to come to this country, you have to contribute, and whether it is find out what you work best at, and we can help you get to that. But that's it. We can help open the door for you, but it's your job to walk through. We're not just going to let you come into our house and not follow any of our rules.
So there's two things I want to say. Number one, I wanted to address Osiris. There was a store I'm trying to look for and I can't find it. There was a store maybe out in Seattle that really they weren't really charging their customers, kind of like they were letting customers pay whatever they felt. And obviously they had to shut down because they were not getting the I can't find the article right now, but I remember it wasn't too far long ago, but it's to your point. It's like these people don't realize that when the rubber hits the road, you need resources to be able to supply things. You need the money, you need the cash, and we don't have that endless supply chain of resources. Yeah, we're a big country and we have all these things, but there's got to be a legal process, and we already actually do. We allow 1 million legal immigrants every single year. And what is happening right now is the system is breaking at the seams, because we've already had 2 million already and counting illegal immigrants coming through. And now that these red governors are shipping them to these liberal cities, it's overwhelming their system. So if it overwhelms their system at a city level, what makes them think it's not going to overwhelm at a state and then on a country level? Absurd.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
well, like I said, hey, if they would be willing to take them in their house, okay, then let's have a conversation then. But they're never going to take them in their own houses.
Now, here's to your point, Ray. You made up a really good point. I've had this conversation with several Hispanics as well, where they actually said the same thing. They shared the exact same sentiment, that many of the immigrants that are coming here today, the illegal ones, are not coming with the same intentions that the legal ones do, because obviously the legal ones do want to work. They want to be able to build same way that it was done in the past. But a lot of these, or many of these illegal ones, they're coming here solely for the benefits. They know they're going to get certain benefits, and that's good enough for them. So let me show you guys one image, and I want to see your reaction to this image. You guys tell me what you guys feel seeing this image.
Okay.
This one right here. This was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the 2017, 2018, during the Trump administration. You've got a caravan of illegal immigrants literally marching towards the border, proudly waving their flag from their own country of Honduras. How does that make you guys feel as Americans?
Well, I'll chime in first. Okay. I understand if you want to be proud of your heritage, that's fine. But if you're coming to this country, you are American first before anyone else. And if you're trying to this almost seems like an invasion in a little ways. It's like you never remember in Battlefield where you always have one guy carrying the flag whenever they're in the battles. That's what it feels like. We're the only thing I can see is they just don't have any guns, from what I can tell. But it's like an invasion. It's like they're charming to a battlefield, because guess what? Because they're trying. It's almost like they're trying to take over the country and trying to win something that's already started.
Okay, Osiris, you?
Yeah. It's literally an invasion. And I think we're going back to China. In my opinion, China is involved with this, along with the anti-NATO. This is done on purpose. See, what right now, the warfare that's happening to me is this awkward dance for the most part. Right now, it's popping off in certain places, obviously Russia, Ukraine, in certain places. But it's really a dance of, like, America's doing it proxy, NATO's doing it through proxy. It's a dance of, okay, I want to go to hurt your country, but I don't want to do full-out war. So China, to me, is funding. I've read articles about them funding the Mexican cartels, allowing them to kind of control the traffic of that and other bad substances in America. And basically, it's an attack. It's an attack on America. It's an attack on the foundation. When you look at this happened, how many? 2 million so far this year? If that keeps happening...
Those are just the ones we know of.
Yeah. If that keeps happening, you don't have an America. I mean, I think that's why you're going to see a red tsunami. But let's say that it doesn't happen. Let's say the same people who have control now have control going on. I know Biden will still be there, but if Congress can take some money away and do stuff. But so let's assume the power stays the same from now until, let's just go out to 2028. If that happens every year, we won't have a country by 2028. That's how crazy this is. So it's an attack on America, point blank.
So let me add on one final one, because I know as a Hispanic, I know how I feel about this. As an American, I know how I feel about this, right? And to me, you could change that flag and it could be the Cuban flag, right? Since I have Cuban blood in me, you could change it to the Peruvian flag, since I have Peruvian in me. And it's still the same. I don't want it and I don't like it. Why? Because those countries have immigration laws also. I can't break those immigration laws. I have to abide by those laws. And I guarantee you that if this caravan were going to another Latin American country, they would stop it if it were illegal, right? And doing right now, there's huge amounts of tension between Venezuela because of everything that's happening in Venezuela and how the Venezuelans have dispersed amongst its neighboring countries like Colombia and Peru and Ecuador and so on and so forth, right? There's huge amounts of issues that are going on migration-wise there as well. But if I were to see this and you change that flag to, I still would be against it. So let me ask you guys this. If we change, just to make sure that nobody accuses anybody of being racist, right? If we were to change that Osiris to the Jamaican flag, would your viewer perspective change?
No, absolutely not. It's not at all. It could be any flag. It has nothing. I have nothing against. These are just people trying to survive. So this is. I want to separate my take from. I feel for them. It's life is savage though. We don't have the ability to take care of everybody. They don't do that in other countries. You can't do this in China. You don't see people running up in through China. I don't want us to be like China, but my parents are Jamaican. If that was Jamaican flag and Jamaicans coming here fleeing danger, I would say the same thing. We can't do it like this.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Ray, go ahead.
Yeah. My father's ancestors come from Germany, and my mom's ancestors come from Nigeria. Like, you could switch it to either one of those. I would say, no, you're not like, if you want to legally come here, I have no problem with that. But if you're trying to pull this, no,
we're not talking about legal migration. Nobody, unless you're a true racist, you're not against legal migration, right? I want to be very clear because the left loves to muddy the two. If you say you're against illegal immigration, they call you a racist and a xenophobe and all this other stuff, right? We're talking about illegal immigration. There is a process, and I'm against it because this is my country. I don't know any other country, right? I wasn't born there. I didn't live there. I have to protect what's mine, right? And that's what. And here's the thing. I want my fellow Americans to be prosperous. That means black, that means white, that means Hispanic, that means Asian. If you are a legal U.S. citizen, you are an American, and I wish all the best for you. I wish all the best for these folks, and I hope and I wish that there was a way for these folks to be better off in life as a whole. But that is not the way, and that actually infuriated me when I saw that, because you're not even coming. Like, I would actually feel different if they were waving the American flag coming in here. I'm like, wow, they really want to be American. Because if I'm not mistaken, if I remember from history books, like the migrants that were coming from Italy and the European area and Ireland, they were waving. I seen pictures of them waving the American flag as they were getting off on Ellis Island. I'm not seeing an American flag here. I'm seeing what is this, a Guatemalan flag or a Honduran flag? And that doesn't sit good with me.
Yeah. And Carlos, you said your wife and Sal, they're Venezuelan, right? They came from Venezuela. I assume they came here legally,
yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So what is their opinion on it? On like illegals coming here?
They're in the same boat that I am. I think Saul expressed that in one of our previous episodes. And my wife is pretty much the same boat. I mean, she's like Osiris. I mean, I like all of us, right? We feel for these folks. We're not cold-hearted, right? We're human beings, and we don't want to see people suffering. But unfortunately, that's the way the world is. There's a large part of the world that does suffer, and it's sad. And we wish that there was something that could be done in a manner that does not exhaust or put others in danger. Like right now, out of this picture, can you point out to me which ones are the rapists and the drug dealers and the cartels that are coming? I can't.
Human traffickers.
I can't tell. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
So we're just not against breaking the law, because we have to abide by every. Gosh, I don't want to pay my federal taxes. I don't want to see another $56 billion go to Ukraine. I would like to say, you know what, I'm pausing until the funding to Ukraine stops. I don't have the luxury to do that, because if I do, Uncle Sam's going to be knocking on my door, which is probably what was happening before I started recording this.
Well, taxes is part of the reason I've been like talking about Florida or even Texas, mostly Florida right now. So like you both got my text. I eventually will be leaving Iowa. I'll be going to either Florida, most likely, possibly Texas, but mostly likely Florida.
Well, listen, guys, we're already going into almost an hour and a half, and I do want to wrap it up. I know you guys have lots of things to do. I want to appreciate you guys for coming on and talking about this subject matter. Let me tell you something. It is something that, to me, it boils my blood. Being born here, being privileged to be born here, to have the things that we have, to live the way that we do. And if you're not living a comfortable lifestyle in this country, it's not because this country is mean to you. It's not because this country is oppressive to you. It's because more than likely you've made bad decisions and bad choices. I have a lot of neighborhood friends that I grew up with that are still stuck in the same boat because of the bad choices and bad decisions that they made. And so those are the things.
Yep.
Thank you guys again for coming on. I really appreciate it. I hope to have you guys here soon, right? You guys are coming down here, but I hope to have you guys on the show once again. I'll let you guys close out with closing remarks. Go ahead, Osiris, take it off.
Well, this type of conversation and being able to, even though I complain about the censorship, to be able to put it up on the internet is why I love this country. We can rise up, we can meet, we can build. Visit me at middlemega.com. I got all my videos there. I have a lot of videos that are not political. They are on different channels. So just go to the website, check it out. Thank you.
Yeah. You can find me on YouTube at Ray Studios, or you can follow me on all the other social media platforms at Ray Studios 29, and also on all the other podcast platforms as well. Or if you want to find me on Facebook, just go type in Ray Studios too. You should find me right there, that page.
Awesome, and I'll link your pages to the description when I post this video. Guys, thank you once again. Thank you to our watchers, our viewers, right? We appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to what we have to say. Continue to follow us, hit the like and subscribe, and we'll keep bringing you content. And, God bless America. Take care, guys. Have a great night.